Welcome to the Nerdist Podcast number 627. This episode of Nerdist Podcast is brought to you by King of the Nerds, which is coming back on TBS Friday, January 23rd at 9 p.m. with Curtis Armstrong, who was amazing on the podcast, if you hadn't heard that episode, and Robert Carradine. And, it's set to kick off the third season. And I have to say, I was skeptical of King of the Nerds before it came out, Kyle Clark.
I'm a more firm believer in democracy of the nerds and not a monarchy.
But it ended up being a fun show, and they're sweet dudes.
I think as long as they're existing where we can have a parliamentary system along with the symbolic monarchy.
A little too much on the political structure of the.
I feel like that's the nerdiest thing I could do about it.
Oh, Meta Nerd! You are now king of the nerds. Oh my God! Well, wait, woohoo! But you didn't want a monarchy, but now you're the head of the monarchy, so that makes it okay because that would make you kind of a hypocrite.
Do I have to step down like George Washington and decide to just be president? Damn it, democracy's hard.
Yeah, it really is. Well, use your power responsibly. Kyle Clark will not be on King of the Nerds, by the way, when it premieres for season 3. You knew you weren't going to be on. What do you know?
But I can hope. They can add me in post.
January. They're not going to add you in post. I promise. January 23, 9 p.m. TBS season 3. King of the Nerds.
What if I just sent him a bunch of footage of me in front of a green screen and was like, guys, I don't know if you're running a little light on an episode.
What a compelling argument. I see no way
that this could go wrong. I agree.
Yeah. But Danica's on this season.
Ooh.
By the way. Danica and Penn Jillette.
Ooh.
And Moby. 3 podcasts
Moby?
so far, yeah. And who else? Lisa Loeb's going to be on.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah, come on.
I didn't say, I just moaned a little bit because, I don't know,
We went out for 4 months.
To be honest, I'm still thinking about how much I like Moby.
I never dated Moby.
You should.
You think? We're friends. Like we could.
Maybe you guys take it to the next level. And then when you guys are friends, you can be like, hey.
What if I show up at Moby's house and sing Stay, I Missed You?
Oh, that'd be amazing. Can we just put that on the website? Can that
Craig
just
Robinson,
be a thing?
In the trailer for Hot Tub Time Machine 2, Craig Robinson is singing Stay, I Missed You in one of the... It's really fun. It's really funny. What are you up to this week?
It's my birthday tomorrow.
That's right! Oh my God! Kyle Clark's birthday. Kyle Clark is rad on Twitter.
It is actually my birthday the day this is out, so they're listening to this on my birthday. This is the day along.
Happy birthday, Kyle! It's your fucking birthday. Because birthday songs,
I like that. It's very 90s birthday song.
Yeah, I mean, it's we'd have to pay royalties if we sang the actual birthday song.
No.
It's your fucking birthday, Kyle.
That's a better birthday song. I like the casual
It's your fucking birthday.
You get kind of a Rob Thomas approach to it there.
Yeah, it's your fucking birthday. Yeah. Yeah, it's your fucking birthday.
Kind of morphed into Alanis Morissette at the end.
Well, it's your birthday. You ought to know. Just start bringing up 90s people that I can
It's
channel.
like having 90s demons inside of you. Just pull your shirt open and just Rob Thomas, Alanis Morissette coming out.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Scrooge where he gets in the elevator and death is there
exactly.
and opens the thing and all those faces. Yeah.
My body is a roadmap of the 90s.
That would be an amazing affliction to have. This podcast is, I'm going to say this was huge for us. This is Bill Gates.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Have you heard of William H. Gates III? And
is that his real full name?
William H. Gates III.
I didn't know about the third. I try to keep track of that shit.
Yeah, William H. Gates III. Which, by the way, if you're a billionaire captain of industry, I feel like traditional captain of industry rules would dictate that you need to go by initials only. Like, he should have been W.H. Gates III.
Oh, that's a good name,
I mean,
too.
Bill was my dad's name. My dad was a bowler. My dad didn't invent
Bill is
Microsoft.
very disarming.
Yeah. And Bill Gates was actually very disarming.
Yeah, super sweet guy.
It was really fun to talk to him. We went up there because the annual Gates Foundation letter is coming out today. Actually, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they basically tell you the Gates Foundation has set aside. I mean,
they got a 15-year
like almost $40 billion of money that they're.
It's a really inspiring letter. Like I was reading through it. It's amazing. Like, they're such a great foundation.
I mean, one school of thought is hoard all your money, and another school of thought is like
fix the world,
give as much of it back as you can.
It's incredible the things they've accomplished.
So there's a few things about this episode. Number one, we talked a lot about the Gates Foundation. We drifted a bit into some of the nerdier stuff that I wanted to ask him about.
But you did ask him if he's played Zork, and I was very proud of you.
You know what I forgot to ask him? GIF.
Oh!
I know. I'm mad. I forgot. I should have asked him the ultimate question for me. But one fella in particular was exceptionally keen on us focusing on the foundation, as you'll hear. Which I completely understand. I mean, like they're, the work they're doing is incredible, and of course should be.
We're trying to save the world.
We're trying to save the world. Could you please stop talking about obscure computer games from 1981?
But what kind of world do we want to live in without disease or poverty if you can't talk about obscure text adventures?
So, but I will say this, in the moments where we drifted into that with him, I mean, obviously he was passionate. He's obviously passionate about the Gates Foundation, but there was something really special I could see in just being in front of him and seeing in his face, talking about Comdex, talking about like the early days of computing and how they built the TRS-80. I mean, like it really, I could see like this is a guy. He loves this.
Hearing him rattle off old program code language, just like it's nothing.
Oh, so much fun.
So cool.
It was a really great experience. And so when we were wrapping up the interview, the reason that it's that you will see that it's an hour and 50 minutes long is because as Bill was leaving to go do something else, they said, "Oh, okay. So if you want to go downstairs, you can talk to some other people from the foundation." And at first, I fully admit, I think I was like, "Oh, I think I'm good. We got the guy. Like, I think, I think we're good." But I thought, I'm kind of curious to see. And they said, "Well, there's this guy named Jay Wenger, and Jay is heading up. He's an epidemiologist, and he's heading up our efforts to eradicate polio." So I was like, all right, well, that actually sounds kind of interesting. So I sat down and talked to Jay for about 35, 40 minutes. And then Julie Sunderland, she handles the investment pool that the Gates Foundation essentially invests like $1.5 billion, like you would if you were an investment pool. But instead of trying to make money, what they're trying to generate is better lives for people. So I talked to her for like another 35 minutes. So Bill is 0 to 40 minutes. And so if you feel like, I got it, that's all I came here for, that's great. But I would also further challenge you to listen to Jay, who had incredible stories.
In particular blew my mind.
Incredible stories about literally trying to eradicate a disease from the human race. And Julie was a phenomenal talker and super engaging and so many things that I didn't understand about, like why you can't just go give a country $1 billion and go, okay, you're fixed. Like ways that they have to do that by building infrastructure and creating technologies and things that actually make the social soil fertile for them to flourish. So I would say, give it a shot and listen to the whole thing, because they both, at the end of it, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I almost didn't do that, because we wouldn't have gotten this. And so, I just want to thank the Gates Foundation for having us up there, and it was an incredible experience. This podcast was also brought to you by Birchbox. You probably every day use like shampoo or shave cream.
I'm familiar with these concepts.
No, you're not. Your hair seems clean, but you don't use shaving cream. Do you shave your cheeks?
I do the cheeks and the neck.
Do you have you tried Birchbox yet?
I have not. Tell me about this product.
Well, Birchbox lets you test drive a personalized batch of grooming and style essentials. Kyle, yeah, that's right. Subscribers receive every month 3 to 4 grooming samples plus a Dapper accessory. And I think you could use some more Dapper in your life. All tailored, now that you're a big boy and it's your birthday.
True. I need something to accentuate these sweaters.
I made Katie laugh. It's $20 a month. Your box is going to get a full range of top-shelf grooming samples, heritage shaving creams to woodsy colognes, gadgets, bar tools, stylish accessories. Birchbox also has a great loyalty program. Points equal money. You earn 1 point for every $1 that you spend in the shop, and every 100 points is equal to $10 to spend in the shop. So
another 10%.
The more you spend, the more you get. Right now, of course, head over to Birchbox.com. Use the promo code Nerdist to get 100 Birchbox points with the purchase of your subscription. That's $10 to spend on your new favorite products.
Birchbox. You'll be so dapper, you'll think you're wearing a monocle.
I hope they use that from now on. Happy birthday, Kyle Clark.
Thank you, Chris.
Here's Nerdist Podcast number 627 with William H. Gates III.
Now entering Nerdist.com.
Keep our name tags on. We'll make it easy.
Oh, did I keep mine on? So you can't be in this building without a name tag? We're going to have to ask you too. I'm sorry. You're going to have to...
I can only not have a phone with him.
Are you you're literally his name? You're like his human name tag. You let everyone know.
I let everyone know that this is Bill.
Are you making a bootleg of this podcast?
Right, I am making a bootleg of this.
Or it's free. You're not.
Yeah, we did give it away.
I think we're about to get tased. Are we going to get tased if we ask the question? Okay, good. All right.
Well, it depends on how this goes, I guess.
Okay. Oh,
Why
pressure?
does his recorder look better than ours?
It's pretty similar.
I don't know.
way cooler.
A bit different.
I feel like his design is a little more.
We can compare afterwards audio quality.
He's in another room. It sounds even better somehow.
Yours has one of those cool buttons on the side. Welcome to your offices, Mr. Bill Gates. I'm wondering, you've been doing meetings, you've been doing interviews all day for the Gates Foundation. Is that what's going on today?
Yeah, I started at 8 this morning and did a couple. The annual letter comes out next Wednesday.
Yep.
And so it's a chance to talk about what we saw, and of course this year focus on what can be done in the next 15 years.
I read the letter. It was at 8 pages, great, quick read, but a lot of information about. There were some things in the letter that I actually never occurred to me. I want to try to cover a lot in a little bit of time that we have with you. So it's loose, conversational. If you want to swear, go ahead. There's no restrictions.
Damn.
Phil, there we go. Hey, wait a minute.
You're getting
Not
there.
the D word. But
We're getting
it's
there.
getting so filthy. But ultimately, what never occurred to me, someone told me a couple years ago, I think people just assume, oh, well, if you have a lot of money, you can just give money to someone and that fixes all their problems. And the answer is no. You actually have to, from what I to understand, you actually have to give them the infrastructure to figure out how to distribute that money properly. Is that true?
Well, in the end of the day, it's not money that counts. It's having a good job, being well educated, having your kids be healthy. And so making sure that those systems, the education system, the primary health care system, the food growing system, agricultural productivity area, those things work well. It's pretty complicated because it's a mix of government and the private sector, and really learning why those things haven't worked well in poor countries. It does require a lot of learning because, it's far away, it's very different than what we experience day to day in a country that's quite well off.
Yeah. Well, but is it because it kind of seems like, well, money is treating a symptom. You have to do the preventative work to make sure that people are educated, they have the right systems in place. But then to do that, don't you need money? Like, what's the chicken and the egg scenario?
Well, if you go back 300 years. Things were pretty rough. Over 30% of kids died before the age of 5 everywhere, even the country that was the best off. Some countries got ahead in terms of building very productive agricultural systems, so the nutrition, the amount of food and the variety of food you got was very good. Then that's really the bootstrap. Your agricultural productivity is kind of the starting point. Then that allows you, if you do that well, to do more in the way of education, to do more in infrastructure, and then, of course, we got electrification, mechanization, productivity in the agriculture sector went up so dramatically that most of the labor then could go over to all these other things. And most of Africa is still back in that phase where almost everybody's a farmer, and most of their output is simply for sustenance, just to feed themselves. And so we have a lot of understanding of, okay, we got productivity up, how can we help them do that? And you're right that when you're poor, the bootstrap is difficult. That's partly why foreign aid and philanthropy come into play a role. Those governments, say they look at malaria and say not only is that killing kids, but it's causing even the kids to survive because of the way their brains have been messed up, to not be able to learn, to not to be able to contribute. They might think, okay, we need to get rid of malaria. But the kind of science and money to create a malaria vaccine and get that out there, they just don't have the resources, the scale to do it. And so they do look to the rich countries, including the United States, to step up and say, okay, you've got science, you've got money, this is all part of humanity. I talk about global citizenship in the letter. And that some of that's been happening, and it has helped a number of poor countries move up. In fact, if you go back to 1960, there were only a few rich countries and lots of very poor countries. The big miracle of the last 75 years is that many of those poor countries like China, Mexico, Brazil, Thailand, South Korea went from poor into middle income. South Korea is actually the extreme. They've gone all the way to where now they're part of the rich country club. But we still have a number of poor countries, a lot of them in Africa, not just. And you still have Yemen, Afghanistan, and a few others. But numerically, the most are in sub-Saharan Africa. And we know what needs to be done. Some of their soils aren't as good. Their terrain, they don't have infrastructure. Without roads, a lot of the stuff is more difficult. And when you're a poor country, you tend to have pretty poor governance.
Sure.
That you don't have as many well-educated people. The people are spending their time getting enough food. So the idea of voting is more about expressing loyalty to your tribe than it is evaluating somebody's bureaucratic excellence in creating things. And so governance tends not to work very well until you get up to a middle income status.
Now, when you say if you go back 300 years and you go back to 1960, you literally can do that, right? The Space Needle is a time machine that you're using to travel back in time. Am I correct?
Well, I was alive in 1960.
What? What's that like?
5 years old. I was born a couple miles south of that Space Needle there.
But we have an amazing view right now of the Space Needle and the EMP Museum, which is incredible. And do you ever go wander around the EMP Museum? Are you a pop culture
EMP,
guy?
you probably know that's a Paul Allen creation.
Mm-hmm.
He had a fascination with
Fascination or obsession?
Oh, he plays the guitar.
Sure does.
He loved Jimi Hendrix. And Paul would always say to me, "Are you experienced?" He tried to help me get
Well, we're
yes
working
on that.
We got to work.
And so anyway, he built that, and it's actually nowadays it's got science fiction.
Yeah.
It's got quite a variety of things.